Hey everyone! This one will be a little bit shorter since there's only two characters left. There's Jing Yuan and Jade. Jing Yuan you meet at the Janzo Lofu. His character introduction goes as follows. The Divine Foresight, one of the 7 Aibaite generals of the Janzo Alliance, leads the Cloud Knights of the Janzo Lofu, a student of the Lofu's previous sword champion, though not known for his martial prowess. He has one of the earliest summons, I think, in the game, with the lightning giant that just appears and slams everyone with his spear. This guy's a spear wielder. Character Story Part 1. Master Diviner, why do we use a square board but round pieces for star chess? Perhaps it's based around the round sky and square earth. Ancient civilizations believed the earth was flat. This set is modeled after the old days of nation-states and imperial conquest over a singular planet, so naturally it's square. As for the pieces, people back then believed the sky was a round dome, and chess pieces spun around like stars in that dome to reflect in human lives. That's why they are also round. No, that's incorrect. I've already predicted your next 48 moves, Jing Yuan. If you want to distract me with questions, I urge you to stop. How could you suspect such malice? Don't interrupt me, keep talking. It's true that chess is a metaphor and describes the human condition. The rules of war are clearly established, with each piece's actions fixed. Advance, retreat, and jump. Advance or retreat is always in an orderly manner, which is why the board's square in its orderliness. As for the pieces, the sage said, use intellect with subtlety and suaveness. As each piece is meant to be sentient individuals, they are therefore circular. The origins of star chess are covered in the cleaned pearls of verdure. I've read lots, Jing Yuan. Why are you brazenly lying to me? Cloud Knight moves to c3, taking your king. You lost, Lady Fu. Hang on, how did I not see this in my predictions? Back up, let me see that move again. Chess pieces are like people. Each has its own sentience. There is no going back on the chessboard. How can anyone return to the past? How can the head of a commission act like a sore loser? Seems like he was playing chess against the person that can predict the future, the one that does quantum damage. Character Story Part 2. Of an alliance spanning 6 mighty Janzo ships, the Cloud Knights emerged out of the ashes of the flaming catastrophe. They swore an oath to defend the Janzo ships and follow Rainbow's decree of the hunt, a tradition carried out to this day. Despite the incredible longevity of long-lived species, few generals have been able to pass the century mark after taking up the mantle due to the bloody nature of warfare. This is not so much fate as it is tradition. As the armed defenders of Janzo against crusading abominations, generals not only must take the lead for planning and dispatching, but also take the lead into battle. Amidst countless names, erased too quickly and too cruelly in the annals of history, the Divine Foresight Jing Yuan, leader of the Cloud Knights of the Janzo Lofu, stands out from the rest with his century-long reign. Under his wise strategy, the Lofu's Cloud Knights have made a name for themselves among the Alliance, achieving an exemplary record. While there are those who complained that he feared combat so much that he seldom resorted to arms, it remains true that his intellect is no less resourceful than the tip of the sharpest sword in solving thorny problems. That explains why you also meet him as one of the most important people on the Janzo Lofu. Character Story Part 3. One of the hottest pieces of gossip making the rounds today contends that Jing Yuan's family has served the realm-keeping commission for generations. According to the Foxian custom of having babies picking their future, parents will put various objects and toys around an infant cub and get them to choose their future career path by grabbing an item. Jing Yuan's parents hoped he would inherit the mantle of a scholar or official at the realm-keeping commission, but Jing Yuan grabbed the toy sword. It seems like prediction from the birth fate tradition came true. After graduating from the academy, Jing Yuan joined the Cloud Knights to escape from a typical life against his family's wishes. His first expedition was recorded in the official Cloud Knights battle record. The Navis astrager carrying the troops had to make a forced landing on an ocean planet infested by abominations. One new, long-lived species known as puppeteer jellyfish hijacked the Cloud Knight's minds, stowing onto the ship and almost converting their warship into an alien hive. Jing Yuan quickly became aware of the crisis and identified the requirements of puppeteer jellyfish possession, then devised a way against them. The rest of the crew eventually passed this ordeal amongst identical friends and foes, defeated the real enemies, and returned home to safety. This bloodless victory showed Jing Yuan's mettle to the Cloud Knight's generals. After returning to the Jianzhou, Jing Yuan demonstrated his adept skill and was appointed to a position of importance in the Knights. His quick-witted and practical approach had repeatedly given his superiors unforgettable surprises and headaches. In the end, Jing Yuan was invited by the previous sword champion of the Luofu to join her team, and so the legend of the High Cloud Quintet was formed. So he was able to save his people by just thinking clearly in a state of panic where everybody else was literally panicking. Character Story Part 4. As the most famous legend in Jianzhou history, the 5 heroes of the High Cloud Quintet gathered to fight together. Their feats were almost endless, driving out the Borisin, invading Thalassa, destroying the alliance between the Houyhnhnms and the Wing Weavers in the Abundance Axis, even rescuing the Jianzhou Yuke and defeating the living planet Ketu Mirage, preserving the eyes of the alliance that gaze out to the stars. However, all their achievements were no match for the cruelty of time. The High Cloud Quintet fell apart after less than 100 short years. As wars waned, the major ships went their separate ways as the Luofu began patrolling cosmic trade routes, seeking out supplies and support for the alliance. Old friendships became scattered to the winds, and enemies were either captured or dead. Only memories remain. Fallen generals don't have to endure such torment, but those who survive have to go through it all. No matter how great a vision one has dreamed of, and no matter how many overwhelming enemies one has defeated, time will always reduce one's strength little by little, yet cruelly spares one's life, leaving one cowering in a corner and hating one's own powerlessness. Only the true wise can stand proud in front of the undefeated enemy called time. I think this is kind of pointing out how the other ships know each other, since it's also like explaining the main story a little bit, but also about that, I think I said it before, where immortality is like a curse but also a blessing in a way. Jade, I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that you meet her near the end of the Pinakoni storyline. She's one of the like 12 or 10 stone hearts or something. So the character introduction. A senior manager in the IPC Strategy Investment Department and one of the 10 stone hearts known for her cornerstone, Jade of Credit. A beautiful and elegant moneylender, she's skilled in deciphering the depths of people's minds, with a personal hobby called Jade Exchange. She's willing to wait patiently for high-value acquisitions and adept at extracting value from seemingly destitute clients. Her ultimate ability is literally like a slab of paper that she like slams down and like stomps on people. She's like the step on me kind of deal character. Character Story Part 1. In the Silver Chain Galaxy, a rare once-in-a-100 Ember-era ion storm approached. A young woman from a family involved in the jewelry trade stood on the terrace, gazing out at a sky inundated with unusual colors. It's time to leave, miss. Mr. Horus has hired an entire starship and we need to make our way to Basvia Starport for shelter. But the commoners in the Silver Chain have not heard of the storm, no? We don't have a choice, it's to prevent possible riots. Leave if you want, but I'll stay here and seek that lady's help. But this ion storm will obliterate all your wealth. There are always things that can't be measured simply by price, such as kindness and life. The aged butler let out a deep sigh. The young woman walked into the pawn shop. Welcome to Jade Exchange. Who are you and what do you seek? An unfamiliar and elegant voice rang from behind the curtain. O kind lady, the worries in your soul seem as turbulent as the raging calamity in the Silver Chain Galaxy. The speaker in the shadows emitted a warm light. The young lady looked up anxiously. Yes, this is why I'm here. I seek for a hope. A hope of saving the Silver Chain Galaxy? I see. What price will you pay in return? The Oceanic Dream, the sacred blood and the jewel of the century. Each of these gems will be sufficient to redeem ownership of an asteroid. You know they are not nearly enough. A lease on a third of the Silver Chain Galaxy's mining industry, and the contract lasts for eternity. Your sincerity is impressive, but I'm afraid that's still not enough. But I don't have anything else to give you. Do you believe that everything in this world can be traded? A hand reached out from the darkness, white and slender. The young lady looked up and a flicker was like fading in her eyes began to pulsate anew. I will bring peace to the Silver Chain Galaxy. As for the price, I want the entirety of you. You will become the IPC's agent in the Silver Chain Galaxy. From this moment on, every puff of your breath and every minute of your life will contribute to the Amber Lord's great cause until the very end of your life. Sounds a bit like slavery. It's not a nice thing. So she asked for the woman's entire life, her entire being, and gave her the only thing of, you have to be the eyes and ears of the IPC. Even then, if she didn't do it, everything would have been destroyed. So it's a really difficult situation to be in. Question is, would you do it though? Would you give yourself up to save a galaxy, knowing well that from that moment on, your actions are not your own choice anymore? Either way, character story part 2. The Silver Chain Galaxy has been officially included in the IPC's commercial sphere. Our profits for the next cycle are expected to increase by 47%. 3P46 level representatives sat around the table in an opulent conference room. That place should just get destroyed by the ion storm, straightforward and simple. The man kept his gaze fixed at the window as he talked. The dusk in Pierpoint is purplish red, while the towering buildings reflected the opalescent glow. My opinion is the opposite. Pray that dies a natural death. What fun is there in that? The woman sitting across the round table remarked, gently swirling the wine in her goblet, red as blood. I am unlike the two of you. I am simply a merchant. Jade rose, smiling as she finished her statement. She knew this outcome would come to pass, that there was no chance of the three people in this room going to an agreement. My expertise is but waiting for that critical investment to present itself in transaction after transaction. The desperate will give anything to see their desires manifest, and these desires will also imbue them with unparalleled power. Witness. The Silver Chain Galaxy that once rejected the IPC have now become reliable allies of the Strategic Investment Department. So, look forward to it. The seeds I plant today will be sown as tomorrow's fruits. So she did take the thing, and people aren't happy about it. They wanted to see it get destroyed, while she didn't want to see it get destroyed because it's a natural way of it going out, is what I interpret from it. Character story part 3. In the Borderlands, there exists a legend that when one is in utter despair and ready to give up everything they have, may request the IPC's help, and if fortune favors them, a moneylender who never declines any client will arrive. Welcome to the Jade Exchange. Who are you and what do you seek? For countless times she repeated the greeting, awaiting the desires from the entire cosmos to surge toward her. A beautiful dancer came to her, seeking the possibility of eternal beauty. She took a portion of her lifespan and granted her access to the Intelligentsia Guild. Time and again, the dancer regained her youthful years, only to return again when age caught up with her. Until one day, she left, hiding her face in her hands, never to return. A soldier from a fallen country pledged all his emotions for the chance of vengeance. Having lost all grief and anger, he transformed into a war machine sowing death. Eventually, he eradicated all his former enemies and was forever trapped in his past, leaving only scorched earth in the aftermath, territories that later fell under the IPC's possession. A couple from Baviru traded their memories in exchange for absolute wealth. They visited her Bonajade exchange at different stages of their life, seeking wealth, fame, and social standing. Until they had squandered all of their memories, they lived a content life only to forget it all in the end. Rumors circulated that anything could be used as collateral at the Bonajade exchange, and even those without any possessions would have a chance to gain a new lease of life. You call that charity? Nah, she's an evil witch, a cursed demon who enjoys collecting souls. Never ever talk to her or you'll end up losing everything. You're talking about Lady Bonajade? No, she's not like that at all. Without her help, my whole town would have been taken over as a colony ages ago. She listens to the ruins about her circulating among the stars, but she pays them no mind. There is but a thin line between right and wrong and good and evil. Once a desire, however tiny it is ignited, more desires will ensue. All that we need to do is to wait and reap. She meticulously counted her collections, the remnants of people's burning desires. Character Story Part 4. On a different day, two young individuals arrived at the door. The door swung open silently, revealing a room filled in smoke. Amidst the smoke, she momentarily paused her evaluation of collateral on the scales and graciously offered fresh tea for her visitors. As I anticipated, Opal chose you to handle the Penacony case, but it seems you found a new ally, she remarked, gesturing for them to take a seat in the ordinary chairs that still retained warmth from the previous visitor. What do you need to collect bad debts owed by Penacony? Your cornerstone, the young man replied, meeting her gaze. Well, this is the first time anyone has asked for such a thing. What price will you pay in return? She asked, a smile playing on her lips. Our cornerstones, the young lady replied. And my life too. I have no choice except that I want to tear open a gash in Penacony. A glimmer of light flickered within the bottomless pupils of the young man. When their eyes met, various memories of the past flickered past. Then settled on the image of her first encounter with these two. She let out a soft sigh, placing a miniature model of Penacony on one end of the scale. Each of us has our own beginnings and endings. The topaz stone was placed on the other end of the scale. This journey together may be long or short, but as long as we haven't reached the end, we must honor our contracts. The aventurine stone followed. In this world, nothing is truly beyond value. Everything can be measured, leveraged, and traded. In the end, the jade stone was placed on a scale, and the scale stepped completely and fell. Now, let's trade them for the future of Penacony. So, Jade, Aventurine, and I think Topaz was the hunt? Yeah, Topaz, all working together to beat Penacony in the main storyline. There is one thing I like Topaz. I like Aventurine, they're both in my team at the same time. I don't own Jade, but there's a lot of people that just use her because of her, like, dummy mommy kind of deal. I honestly don't understand her character entirely. It seems like she only wants more gain and stuff like that. It's really hard to understand. Even then, the Bonajade exchange turns people into the worst version of themselves sometimes. So I don't know if it's even worth going to her for something like that. It might even be better in some cases to go to the Aeons instead. But then again, that is my opinion on the fact. I'm sorry for the video being a little bit late. Again, it's just been hard with the passing of my lizard, Zara, and I also recently got her cremated remains back as well. Either way, if you liked hearing me talk about these stories, please leave a like, leave a comment if you have anything that you want to have me read in the future as well. If you want to help me out financially, I put a link to my my Patreon in the comments as well. In the description. It would help me out a lot. But yeah, thank you for being here. I hope you have a nice day, a nice night, a nice evening, or a nice morning, depending on where you are. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.